Yes, let's start today's session. This is the second session of Python full stack web development. Yesterday, I conduct the first session of Python full stack web development. In yesterday's session, I just discuss only basic things related to Python full stack web development. So once again, in 5 minutes, I'll explain what I discussed in the yesterday's session for new students who are joining today only, so that they will also know the information which I passed in the last lecture. After 5 minutes, so I can continue where I stop in the last lecture, I can continue from there so that the concept will be clear. Okay. So in Python full stack web development, I explained in the last lecture what kind of subjects I'm going to cover. Okay, these are the subjects. Like first subject is Python, second subject is Django, third one REST API, fourth one Flask, and fifth one UI basics, and sixth one MySQL and SQLite 3. So total these are the 6 subjects. To become a Python full stack web developer, you must and should learn these total 6 subjects. And some students are looking for only Python. That means they want to learn programming language part only. So core and advanced Python. So you can go with only Python programming language course, that is core and advanced. If you go through this Python core and advanced course, the duration of the course is only 50 working days to 60 working days. But if you enroll for complete Python full stack web development, the duration of the course is 4 months. Okay. So I explained already in the last lecture demonstration. And even I explained each subject purpose also. So Python first subject purpose, it's a programming language. Generally, any programming language can be used to write coding part for the application development. Without programming language code, we can't develop any application code. And other subject is like Django. As I said that Django, REST API, Flask, these 3 subjects are not programming languages, but rather than these 3 subjects are frameworks. So Django is a framework which is used to develop the web applications. So what is web application? The application which will provide the services over the web or internet is called web application. In Python full stack web development process, to implement any websites or web application, compulsory we need to use a framework called Django. Django is completely Python-based web framework. To learn Django framework, Python is the prerequisite subject. Why? Because Django framework is completely written in Python language through. And after completion of Django web application, do you want to make this web application to communicate with other web application? Then other subject is required, that is called REST API. REST API is also a framework which is used to design and develop APIs. API stands for Application Programming Interface. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. The APIs which are developed using REST architecture is called REST API. REST API is completely written in Python language. That's what to learn REST API. The prerequisite subjects are Django as well as Python. Both are required to learn REST API. So ultimately, one language you are going to learn, that is Python, programming language. 3 frameworks we are going to learn, that is Django, REST API, Flask. But what about Flask framework? Flask is also a Python-based framework which is used to develop the single-page web applications. Normal small-scale web applications or single-page web application purpose, we can use Flask. And medium scale applications and large scale application purpose, we use Django framework. So generally, Flask is a micro framework. It's a small scale application development purpose. And even Flask can be used to develop microservices programming in real time. So now here, what is a framework? I explained that framework is a collection of built-in class libraries. So class library is nothing but what? Each library contains some built-in classes. Each class contains some built-in methods. Python software foundation programmers, they are providing us some built-in libraries in the form of framework. Framework is nothing but set of rules and regulations which we need to follow as a developer. In this framework, we will get lot of methods, classes, and total built-in stuff. That means ready-made resources you are going to get. Using that ready-made resources, application development will become easy. In total Python full stack web development process, there are mainly two components will be there. One is front-end component. Next one is back-end component. Front-end component subjects are UI technologies. Like UI technologies means like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and Bootstrap. Back-end technologies totally three. One is programming language Python. Three frameworks we can use for backend development logic, Django, REST API, Flask. And for database storage purpose, we can use in backend application technologies like MySQL as well as SQLite. So Python, Django, REST API, Flask, MySQL, and SQLite under comes into backend implementation. Only front-end development purpose, we use UI technologies, that is HTML, CSS, jQuery, and Bootstrap. So Python full stack developer means a developer should have the prior knowledge about front-end development technologies and back-end development code. So both if you have, then you are going to become a full stack developer. So this is what I explained in the last lecture, very basic information I said. Who are new to this session, for you purpose, I just explain once again. This is the theoretical part which I explained in the last lecture. Okay. And the total, we are going to develop some real-time projects also. Hands-on experience you will get in the context of Django, REST API, Flask through minimum 4 to 5 projects we are going to develop in our sessions. But for sure that whether you are going to enroll for this Python core and advanced language, or you are going to enroll for complete Python full stack development course, no matter, for all the students, I must teach first Python subject only. So that from today onwards, our focus is completely Python. In Python also, we will explain core topics as well as advanced topics. Core topics means completely basics, like operators, looping concepts, for loop, while loop, control flow statements like if condition, nested if, elif, if else, and break, continue, and so on. If you observe the syllabus copy, so our team will send the complete content link also, so that you can observe over there what topics related to core Python, it's there. Advanced related means object-oriented programming, multi-threading, many topics I have included in the course content. You can observe that. And even who are new to today's session, so our team, after completion of this demo lecture, our team will send the demo video also yesterday what I conducted. You can simply click on that link. You can watch the video of yesterday's session. Who are new to this session, today only if you join, that I recommend. But anyway, after completion of 3-4 demo lectures, for every student, after enrolling for this course, every student will get complete PDF material as well as the related lecture videos to your Google Drive. Once again, I'm telling you, the Google Drive access is lifetime. Okay. Even my team will inform you through mail, some 6 months access only. but actually I'm going to give the access to you people, so I can give complete lifetime access. No worries about recording videos, lectures. It will be there for lifetime in your Google Drive. Safely have to save it once I send. Okay. So video lectures and material you will be able to receive after completion of enrollment process. So I'm asking you, you can also take demo session, one more session, two more sessions like that. After that, you can enroll. Once your enrollment process is over, obviously I'll get your mail IDs from DURGASOFT so that I can send the material and relevant videos to your Google Drive. So this is explain which I explained in the last lecture. And from today onwards, my complete focus is on Python only, sir. Once we complete Python core and advanced, then we will focus on web development process. And last point, I'll explain once what I discussed yesterday, because new students also again will get confused here. You can also take only Python core and advanced, because some students are looking especially only Python programming language, who are looking forward later data science, artificial intelligence, AWS, DevOps, and other tools. For them, it's required only Python. So you can continue with Python, or you can enroll with only Python. But some students are looking for complete Python full stack development. If you want to become a full stack developer, you must enroll for Python full stack so that you can learn all these total subjects. So the total duration of Python full stack development is 4 to 4.5 months, and only Python core and advanced programming language topic is 50 working days to 60 working days. So let's begin today about Python. So our main core subject is Python only, no? So we are going to explain about Python only. Yes. As I said that about Python, very simple statement. Python is a programming language which is used to develop coding part, which is used to write coding part for the application development. Yes, correct. It's a programming language which is used to write coding part for the application development. Fine, sir. So next, what type of programming language it is? We are saying that it's a programming language, but what type of programming language it is? I'll explain clearly. Look at this. First of all, Python is a general purpose programming language. General purpose programming language. What is the meaning of general purpose? So if you go through Google, if you go through any articles related to any programming language like C, C++, Java, C#, .NET, and so on, usually we will read the statement like every programming language, it's a general purpose language. What does it mean? General purpose means what? Very simple. If a programming language is a general purpose language, that means using that language, we can develop any type of applications. Any type of application means what? Python is not only designed and developed for only one sort of application development or one category of application development. No. Python is completely designed for general application development, general purpose utilization. Meaning is what? We can develop any sort of applications. Application means what? There are so many types of applications, like example, web applications, okay, gaming applications. I'll talk about applications in detail later sessions, but just I'm giving rough idea. Web applications, gaming applications, network-based applications, data science application, statistical analysis application, embedded programming applications, MATLAB applications, network-based applications, data science, AI, ML, and so on. So Python through we can implement many sort of applications, which I explained just now. So web applications, gaming application, network-based applications, data science related application, data analysis programming, data science related applications, AI, ML, even testing applications, embedded, MATLAB. So these many possibility applications possible to develop using Python. That's what we can call it as what? It's a general purpose programming language. Fine. Next, Python is a high level programming language. High level. Yes. High level meaning is what, normally this word also we heard many times in the context of any language. High level means what? If any programming language is high level language, that indicates that all the internal activities or low level activities purpose, we need not to write any logic. For example, I'll explain. Suppose I'm a Python programmer. I have written some sort of logic in my program. Okay, so I have written complete logic, sir. Okay, some logic I have written. But when I try to execute that logic, so we are going to see the output properly. But to look at this, the program, the moment when we write and after click the hit run button, after that we'll get clear output. But directly will it come output or without any processing happen internally? So a lot of process should happen internally before going to deliver the output to developers. So a lot of process need to be takes place internally. For example, your code is required some memory, especially whenever we define or declare any variables or objects, that objects and variables are required some memory or not. So that memory management and security precautions and interpretation, compilation, these all the sort of things need to process internally. But as a programmer, okay, are we providing any sort of code to do memory management or security or else memory deallocation process, allocation process? Are you contributing any code while writing programming part? No, obviously no. But who is going to take care of that complete memory allocation and deallocation mechanism? Like internal process, low level activities, performance, Python by default will take care. That is the reason why we are saying Python is a high level programming language. High level programming language means not only Python. You can take any high level programming language like C#, .NET or Java. The language which is high level means all the internal activities or low level activities purpose. As a programmer, we need not to do any contribution of the code. So that is very important thing. As a programmer, we need not to concentrate on low level activities. We don't bother about that because we are using high level languages. All the low level activities will take care by programming language itself. So here programmer is going to be only focus on their logic. They don't mind about what's going to happen internally, how much memory is required for our program, when it is required to deallocate the memory, how to perform cleanup activities. These are all none of our business. Because we are using high level language, all the internal activities will take care by programming language itself only. This is high level language. Python is high level. So Python is a high level language so that all the internal activities can take care by Python itself. So what are the internal activities? Memory allocation, deallocation, cleanup activities, security precautions, all the initialization. This kind of sources is going to happen internally. That will take care by Python. As a programmer, we are not going to write any logic for that. So that's what it's high level language. Next, Python is a dynamically typed interpreted programming language. This is one of the major feature, interpreted programming language. Python is interpreted programming language. So here I would like to give more clarity in this case. So we have already knows that compiler based programming languages are some of them are like C, C++, C#.NET as well as Java. These are the compiler based programming language usually. Okay, C#, .NET, Java, C, C++. These are the compiler based languages. That means whenever we write some logic in C, C++, C#, .NET, Java, okay, suppose if I write 10 or 20 lines of logic, 20 lines of logic code if I write in these languages, how the program is going to be executed, the moment when I start execution, whole 10 lines of code is going to be checked at once. Okay. Especially in these languages, when we write this 10 lines, just example I'm telling, even you can take 100 lines or 200 lines, no matter how many lines are there in your code, but whole program at a time will be checked. This is called compiler based. But right now we are speaking about what? Python. What type of language it is? Interpreted based programming language. Interpreted programming language means Python, okay, JavaScript, Shell script, all scripting language, most of the cases interpreted based only. If I write same 10 lines of logic code in Python language, the 10 lines of logic code is not going to be processed at once. Line by line process is going to be takes place. For example, first line is going to process. If it is correct, then Python interpreter will jump into next line. If the next line also correct, then it will move to third line. In case in the process of line by line execution in Python language, in which line there is some error. For example, imagine there is a some mistake in third line. Then obviously Python interpreter will stop that execution in the third line itself, and it will disclose the third line error to the developer. As a developer, we should focus on third line error. What's going to happen? You have to think and you have to resolve. After that, it will be proceed with next fourth line and fifth line like that. So the difference is very clear. What is the main difference between compiler-based programming languages and interpreter-based programming language? In compiler-based programming languages like C, C++, C#, .NET, Java, how many lines of logic code you write in your language, in your code, whole lines at a time is going to be compile and execute. In Python, like interpreter-based, it is not compiler-based. No matter how many lines of code you write in Python language, line by line code is going to be check and execute. Okay. So that is the reason why in even generally in these languages, programmer is going to be seen 10 errors, 20 errors, 5 errors, 2 errors, 3 errors, number of errors will disclose in that terminal. Why? Because in the process of compilation of all the lines at once, how many number of errors are there in these languages, that many error list will display in the output terminal. If there is no errors, happily the output is going to disclose. But in Python, you never see in the output terminal multiple errors. You never seen, because it's a line by line execution process. Python interpreter will disclose only one error. On which line its error is raised, that line only you are going to see. So just because of interpreter. So interpreted based means line by line program code will check and execute. Compiler based means whole program at a time will check and execute. Just because of these languages all are compiler based, that's what number of errors will disclose in the output terminal window in these languages. But in Python output terminal window, we never seen the number of errors, only one error, because in which line error occurred, that line only will disclose. So that is the interpreted based language. Just because of Python is interpreted programming language, the code execution speed when compared to this C, C++, C#, .NET, Java, Python code execution speed is little bit slow. Okay, it's not a drawback. Don't think so. It's a drawback of Python when compared to other languages. Okay, execution speed little bit slow. Why? Because in Python, code will check line by line. Obviously, it will take little bit time. But in other languages, whole program at a time will check. But even I'm not feeling that it is a disadvantage. Even from the Python point of view, I'm thinking it's an advantage to the developers. Because if the execution is going to be takes place line by line, hardly programmers will see that only one error in the error window, so that programmer can focus on that error to handle it clearly. But if you go with other languages, what's going to happen? If programmer is going to see multiple errors in error window, Okay. So they will get bit confused which error need to be solved first. Okay. So they'll get bit worried about the errors, how to handle that, because multiple errors there when they are looking in the error window, that's the biggest problem. But even just because of Python interpreter line by line execution, the tracing or debugging will be easy in Python language. Okay. So programmer can have the proper idea in the line by line execution process. They'll come to know in which line each process, how it is going to happen. Clearly, they can able to analyze, they can able to check. This process is nothing but debugging process. We're also going to show you debugging Python program, how to do with line by line execution, what's going to happen internally. Everything we'll discuss clearly in the coding pattern. So this is interpreted programming language. Okay, fine. Next, Python is dynamically typed programming language, sir. Dynamically typed. It's one of the most important feature of Python, dynamically typed. What about these languages, sir, like C, C++, C Sharp, .NET, Java? These languages are statically typed programming languages. Statically typed programming languages. I'll explain you that. What is statically and dynamically. But Python is what type of language? Dynamically type of language. Dynamically typed programming language. First, let me talk about statically typed means what? Generally, in any programming language, if programmer wants to declare any variable, the syntax is usually this is only, no sir. Like for example, data type, variable name. Look at this data type, variable name equals to value. Okay. Data type, variable name equals to value. Semicolon must according to other languages. Now example, data type is integer you can take. Variable name is a for example. Value is 100. This is common syntax which we can follow in any language. But when it comes to Python, it's not possible to include like this. Why? Because I'm saying that Python is a dynamically typed programming language. But these languages are what? Statically typed. I can explain you clearly for easy way to understand. Statically meaning is what, while typing the program. Remember, while typing the program, that is called statically. Dynamically meaning is what, while executing the program. While execution, while program is running, that means dynamically. Dynamically means runtime. Statically means what? Writing time. While program, whenever we are going to write, that is called statically. So in C language, C++, C Sharp, .NET, Java, and other languages, whatever you take, programmer must and should have the data types based upon the value what they are going to assign to the variable. Look at this. Data type, variable name equals to value, semicolon. So that's what programmer first only has to decide the data type of the variable based upon the value. For example, imagine that I'm trying to take this string data type. It's give wrong because you initialize the value, integer value 100 to the variable A, but you mention wrong data type for A. So that if programmer don't have clarity on the data types, so which data type they can define for variable, so it will give wrong syntactical errors, okay, or compilation errors. So in other language point of view, programmer should have the clarity of data types. While writing the program only, they should mention the data type of the variable based upon the value. But when it comes to Python, Python is completely user-friendly language or programmer-friendly language. Just because of what? Dynamically typed programming language it is. Dynamically typed means what? While execution of the program. Look at this in Python language, how to define the variable. What is the syntax? You can see the syntax is only this is variable name equals to value. Even semicolon also not required. Example I'm taking, variable name is what? A. Value is what? 100. This is very simple and straightforward in Python. See, the thing is, only in Python programming language, programmer has to decide the variable name and value. But he's not at all giving any data type. Look at this. No data type, which I mention here, like integer. Even if you try to mention the data type of the variable also, according to Python syntax, this is wrong syntax. You will get syntax error usually. Why? The reason, just we are saying that Python is a dynamically typed. So dynamically means what? Runtime. That means during the program execution time. So based on the value, what we assign to the variable A, Python interpreted automatically will assign the data type for this variable A. So this is the main advantage. So initially, as a Python programmer, we need not to worry about data types. Okay, some developers will get confused. My values look like, what data type should I assign for them? Nothing to worry, because only whatever the value do you want assign, you can assign to the variable. No need to think about data type much more. So by default, based upon the value, automatically your variable will get data type from Python only. Okay, this is the user friendly. But one thing is for sure, sir. Just because of dynamically typed language, we are not going to mention any data type of the variable. It doesn't mean that Python do not have data types. It's having a lot of data types like integer, float, bool, complex, none, even data structures also there, collection types like string, list, tuple, set, dictionary, range, and so on. Okay. Only the thing is, while writing the programming part, as a programmer, we need not to specify any data type. Okay, that's what we are saying. It's a dynamically type. So Python is a dynamically typed programming language. While declaring the variable, no need to specify any data type. Just I want to show you a quick program. So you can see this, what is going to happen. So this is temporary editor, sir. Just for time being, I'm opening this editor, ideally integrated development learning environment. This is the default editor of Python. Just I want to show you a quick statement here. Look at this. In Python, if I define the data type, variable name, value 100, like this, when I press enter button, you can see it's giving syntax error. Why? Because look at this. I mentioned data type integer, but according to Python syntax, programmer need not to mention any data type. Just now we discuss about dynamically typed language. Only programmer has to focus on the variable and value. Look at this. Press enter. So we assign the 100 value to the variable A clearly. But where is the output, sir? Do you want to print A value? Just A. Look at this. I press enter. After A, we got the output value. So result is clearly available. But in case, just for curiosity, do you want to know that Python is assigned for what data type for your variable A based upon the value? There is a built-in function in Python that is type of A. So this type function will get the data type of your variable. Look at this, the moment when I press enter button. So Python return integer type. So A is having data type is what? Integer. Who assign integer data type for A? Python itself. As a programmer, we have not defined. Only we focused on the value. Suppose if I try to take look at this, A equals to 23.45 and A 23.45 is printed. Do you want to know about type of A? This time you can see this, what type? Float type is assigned. So based on the value, what we assign to the variable, that variable will automatically get the data type, that is float. But we have not mentioned any float or integer like that. So this is just basic coding. You will come to know later, just basic coding to understand what type it is. Okay. Yes. So dynamically typed means no need to specify any data type explicitly from the programmer side. Only you just focus on the value and variable. That's it. But in other languages, compulsory, they must decide the data type first in the writing of the program only. That's what these languages are, statically typed languages. If any wrong data type defined in other language, that's give error. Even semicolon also must and should give in the other language. But in Python, no need to give any semicolon and all. Because Python is a straightforward programming language and simple syntax it's having compared to other languages. So that's what anybody can feel very comfort in the process of learning of Python language. Even who don't know the basics of computer or basics of programming skills initially, they can easily understand Python. Okay, so it's a dynamically typed language. Next, Python is a case-sensitive programming language. Yes, case-sensitive programming language. What is case-sensitive? I'll explain that. Case-sensitive programming language. Case-sensitive in the sense, for example, I declare the variable a, value 100. If we try to print a, it's correct. So look at this, I'm using print function also. Print also we can use. Normally in the ideally, print function usage is optional, not compulsory. Or without print also we can do that. For example, print a means it's correct. But sometimes programmer trying to print capital A, you declare the variable in small case and you are trying to access the variable in small case, it's correct. But you are trying to access the variable in uppercase, it's wrong. So this is called case sensitive style. Let's quickly show that case sensitive, how it works. So case sensitive means what? What cases through you declare the variable name or any name, same cases you have to access. If you use other cases, it will give error. For example, I'm trying to take a value 10. So print function also you can use, sir, no problem here. Either you can use print of a or else only a also you can use, no problem. Anyone it is possible in this editor. Print a. It's correct. If I try to do print a means it's wrong. So capital A is there, but you can see it is wrong. Name error is coming. Why name error is coming? Because the name A is not defined. You defined what? Capital A not, small a you define. But you are trying to access what? Capital A. That's not correct. So that's what we are getting name error. Name A is not defined like this. So cases are very particular. Strictly remember, this is a case sensitive programming language. Okay. So ultimately, what type of programming language Python means? It's a general purpose, high level, interpreted, dynamically typed, and case sensitive programming language. We can say that. So general purpose means using Python, we can develop any type of applications. Python is not only designed for particular kind of applications. High level means all the low level activities by default will take care by Python only. For low level activities purpose, as a programmer, we need not to write any logic. Interpreted language means how much code you write in Python editor. Each line can process separate and execute separate. Line by line execution process is going to take place. That is called interpreter. Dynamically typed means while declaring the variable in Python programming language, as a programmer, we need not to specify any data type explicitly. Only we should focus on the variable and value. Python automatically will decide the data type based upon the value what we assign. Case sensitive means how the way you declare the names, like either it can be a variable name or method name or class name. If you declare in capital case, you have to access with capital case. If you declare in small case, you have to access with small case. That is case sensitive language. So this is about what type of language Python it is. Okay. Now coming to the point. Suppose why Python, sir? Okay. So don't think so. Python is used to write coding part for the application. I'm not asking that way of question. Why not other languages? Like we are talking about C, C++, C Sharp, .NET, and Java also programming languages, but still so many people are using those languages. But why Python we are selecting, and what is the advantage of Python? Or I can say why many people are moving around Python nowadays, or many people are focused on Python. What are the reasons behind that? There are mainly two reasons I'll explain, sir, why people are moving around Python. Okay. why don't go with the other languages for same requirement which we can fulfill with Python? Okay, we have some requirement, for example. Why don't we go and solve with other languages? What's going to happen with the .NET as well as Java? If same requirement, if we have, the requirement can be possible to sort out with other languages also like C#, .NET, Java. But why we are choosing Python first option? Because the reason I'll tell you. One thing I can say, Python became a popular language just because it's provide huge standard libraries. Yes, that is the main reason. Okay. Python is a popular programming language and it's a why because many of the people are going to use Python script and Python code in the application implementation because it's having huge standard libraries. It's provide huge standard libraries. The moment when we download and install Python software, it will provide huge standard libraries. Library is nothing but it's a built-in thing. In this library, there are so many built-in classes. Each class, there are so many built-in methods. Each method, there are so much of built-in code implementation is there. So with this library, programmers can implement their application very quick manner without wasting of time. They can implement their application development at faster rate. So just because of it's providing huge standard libraries only, so programmer can fulfill their requirement easily without putting more efforts when compared to other languages. And when compared to other languages, Python number of lines of code will be reduced. Drastically, code will be reduced, no doubt at all. If we take same requirement, if we go through Java or if we go through C#, for same requirement purpose in these languages, if I write 50 lines of logic code, same requirement if I choose with Python language through, I can able to finish maximum 15 to 20 lines of code. Obviously. So that means 30 to 40% of burden is going to be reduced from the programmer point of view. So number of lines will be reduced, programmer time is not going to waste, and quick implementation is possible with Python. I'm not saying that these languages are not much useful. These also very useful and powerful languages into their rules and regulation, their context. Okay. But Python context, I'm speaking, Python is the best way to develop the applications, especially Python is very much popular or famous for data science, data analytics, or data visualization, okay, statistical analysis, AI, ML, AWS, DevOps, many more tools. In this area, Python is very popular. In the web application development also, Python is popular. See, using .NET, we can build a web application. Using Java, we can build a web application. Using Python and Django also, we can build a web application. Same type of web application, I'll allow the 3 developers. One developer belongs to Java, one developer belongs to .NET, one developer belongs to Python. Same project, if I ask them to develop same day start, means obviously Python developer can finish quickly because the flexibility is more in Python. As I said that number of lines of logic will be less when compared to other. Same requirement, same website, same way we can develop, same requirement we can achieve. For example, shopping cart. If I ask to the developers to develop shopping cart application, 3 developers are started on same day. One developer is choosing .NET, one developer is, for example, choosing Java, one developer is choosing Python with Django. Obviously, Python developer can finish the same project quickly because that much of libraries they are providing. Ready-made resources, we can say these are the standard libraries means. Ready-made resources meaning is what? Readily available. Directly we have to we have to use those resources in application development. But even .NET and Java also will provide some ready-made resources, but not that much extent what Python is offered to us. So that is the main aspect why people are moving around Python. So Python through we can make the code simplification more when compared to other languages. Okay. And most of the cases, by compared to other language syntax, Python syntax is very simple and straightforward. How we can read English language statement, how we can write normal English language statement, the Python code also we can write same way. There is no much more complex syntax is there. I'll explain you. For example, uh, two reasons I'll explain first. One reason is it's having huge standard libraries. That's what Python became a popular language. Another reason is not valid reason, I can say, but most of the people will feel Python is what actually Python is very easy and implement. Okay, this is the one more reason I can say, but this is not valid reason. Why? Because just because of it's very easy and easy to implement, just because of that reason, no programming language will become popular. The main reason to become a popular language is what? It's offering huge libraries to the developer. But that too, the libraries not only in one aspect. Suppose if I want to develop some network programming, network libraries Python will offer. Suppose I'm a data scientist. I want to visualize my data. I have so much of data with me. I would like to visualize the data. So data visualization libraries also will be provided by Python. Like for example, data visualization libraries means what? Matplotlib, mathematical plotting library, Pandas, Python data analysis, NumPy, numerical Python. These also libraries, data science libraries also, it's a part of our content. We are going to explain in advanced Python visualization program, analytical program, NumPy program, Pandas and all. Okay. So it's a part of our curriculum. So just I'm saying. So these are the two reasons why Python became a popular language. Huge standard libraries they are providing, and it's very easy to write the code and implementation of the code from the programmer point of view. Why I'm saying that, for example, look at this. Python syntaxes are very simple and straightforward. For example, in Java or .NET, if you take any language, if you want to write a program simply for adding two numbers, for example, in Java or .NET, we can use, first of all, we can use header files here. If it is a C language, we can implement header files. If it is Java, we can include packages. If it is .NET, we can include namespaces. Header files we have to include. After that, we have to create class. Suppose I'm taking class name, open bracket, close bracket. And here you can say I need to mention public static void main. So this is the main method declaration. And sometimes we have to go for command line argument, string args, open bracket, close bracket. Three variables I am going to declare here. Suppose integer ABC. One variable value I am assigning. Value is 100. B is 200. Look at this, just 200. C equals to what? A plus B. Finally, we have to print what? C. System.out.println, for example, just C. Okay. Look at this rough program. It is not valid. Okay. Look at this. These many lines of code I have written if it is in other language point of view like C#, .NET or Java or something. Huge lines and syntax also somewhat complex. Where the bracket is required to open and close, you must take care. And if you miss any single semicolon also, it will give some wrong indication and syntax error. But when it comes to Python, this many lines of code is not at all required for adding just two number program. Look at this. If it is in Python, no proper syntax and no complex syntax. A value 10, B value 20, C equal to A plus B. Just we are trying to do what? Print C. That's it. This is the program. This program will work well. Look at this. Whether it will work or not, you can see this. Just I am opening ideally. This is the default editor for Python. Look this A10, B20, C equals to what I'm trying to take, A plus B, print C. We got the output clearly. Did I include any complex syntax like static void main, class definition, header files, or semicolon, or functions? No. No curly brackets, no delimiters, directly straightforward logic. A10, B20 is equal to A plus BC. Even if you want, you can simplify the code like this. Look at this, A23, B45, A plus B directly also you can add. This is more simplification of the code. Or else directly also you can able to do that. For example, 100 plus 345, 445, the result is. How simple it is, you can see this. But that's the reason it's called programmer friendly. So every Python programmer can feel very comfort while learning of Python. It's a straightforward syntax, no more complex syntax when compared to other languages. That's the reason most of the cases, okay, people are choosing their IT career starting with Python language only. That's the reason I said in that even in the last lecture also, to start learning with Python, no additional subjects required. That like C basics or C++ basics not at all required. You can start learn with Python starting only because itself it's a basic language. To learn this very basic language, no need to have any basics, I think so. Okay, so this is very simple and straightforward programming language. So this is about today what I explained here so far. So tomorrow we'll continue from here onwards where I stop here. And tomorrow is the most important and crucial session is going to happen. Okay, don't miss this. I sincerely requesting you to do. If you really wanted to attend regular session, don't miss at least tomorrow. Okay, no matter. After that, you can decide whether do you want to join or not, no matter it is, but don't miss tomorrow at least. Why? Because the tomorrow, why I'm saying the crucial session means I'm going to show you how to make the setup of Python. That means first time, if you are a Python programmer, how to arrange your system or laptop for starting your code, what editors are required, how to download Python software and install, what are the possible ways to write Python logic, what editors are required. This all the information I'm going to deliver in the tomorrow session. That's what, don't miss tomorrow session at least. It's a very crucial session. So once if you know how to get complete Python setup in tomorrow lecture, so it will be easy for the next session. Easily we can able to manage. Even I would like to explain the history of Python and the features of Python programming also in the tomorrow lecture. That is what, don't miss tomorrow session at least. So this is the second demo session is over today. Now it's time to ask any question. So if you have any questions or queries related to this session or yesterday's session, you can feel free to ask me now. Any questions? Please go through it. So tomorrow I'm going to explain how to download a Python software and how to install it, step-by-step procedure. You can also do same thing, okay, by following my steps. And also I will introduce the editor tools, which editor tool is best editor tool for Python practice. Throughout in my Python full stack development course, even project development process also, what editor through I'll explain also, I'll disclose in tomorrow session. Tomorrow is the very, very important session is going to be happen. Don't miss it, please. So still I'll wait for here 5 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask. So I think nobody is having any question, I think so. So now it's time to exit from the meeting. Anyway, thanks for attending this session. I hope you people are going to attend tomorrow session as well. So don't miss it. Have a nice time. See you in tomorrow session. you can use the same link again. Okay. Who are new to this session, I request you to watch the last session recorded video. The link will be provided from my team side. They'll assist you clearly. So you can watch it and continue that. Anyway, once your enrollment process is over, after attending 2 more demos, so you will get complete video lectures from the day one and along with PDF material also. So video session recordings, I'll give numbering like Python 1, Python 2, Python 3. You have to follow like that. All the video lectures will be takes place in your Google Drive. You can access that videos lifetime. That's it from today, my side. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice time.